Okie doke, folks. I think I am dressed properly. I had to straighten my hat out some. Okay, I am going to turn the tenon off of this foot, this pedestal. I'm also going to hollow that pedestal down to where I have approximately a 3/8 bottom. So in other words, I'm going to be hollowing all the way down to this ridge right here. I'm going to do that using my chuck plate. I invented this chuck plate in 2010. I didn't see the full potential for this chuck plate until after, about a year and a half, maybe. Yeah, it was over 2 years because I invented this in 2010 and 2012, November of 2012, I think it was. I decided to make them out of metal, aluminum. There's so much more advantages, so many more advantages to using this chuck plate, because you've got screws right here that you can adjust out and in. These 5 screws here in the middle, they're stuck, whatever size or whatever depth you've got them set at. When you put it into the chuck, you cannot access these screws because they're inside the jaws. These screws up here, yeah, you can access them. They will work. This will work really well on a SN2 and a G3. Any other chuck that has a larger body than the G3, I don't know what will happen because I don't have anything other than G3s and SN2s. So anyway, this is the chuck for roughing. Since I make these things, I still have about 50 chuck plates left, and I have one dedicated for rough turnings, that one on the wall right there, and this one that's on my spindle. That is used for removing tenons. And I will show you how that's done. On a piece like this, I don't know, you call it a hollow form or do you call it a whatever, I'm calling it a lidded box. I'm going to take this thing right here, I'm going to turn it down until this fits up flat against that little, there we go, that little flange that you see right there. When it sits flat, I think I'm good. Now I might have an issue because this screw right here, that screw right there on the top is, I'm poking through and exposing it. So what I can do, and I know where that screw belongs, and this screw is in here for one reason and one reason only. That's an indicator of where number 1 setup. You can see how I've got it. I always put this on, it always goes back in the same exact spot. The only screw hole that is critical is the center hole, quarter inch point on my chuck plate. So therefore, that will always be a good tight fit, and these other screws, you can see how much slop there is. Let me do this. You can see how much slop there is because the holes are larger. I believe these holes are 5/16, but that center hole must be 0.250 inches or 1/4 inch. No bigger, no smaller. You'll always have a good jam chuck, whatever you want to call it, when you're ready to use it. Okay, I'm going to bring up my tailstock. Here's what I did yesterday, and that's a continuation from this video is a continuation from all of this that I did yesterday. I will not show them because it's over 2 hours. But I will show removing this tenon, and this tenon should take me about 20 minutes, I think. That's getting set up, and I might not use this. I'm going to go ahead and put a step in here. If I get it to fit good, it goes. If not, I've got others all throughout my shop in here that I can use. And a lot of times I have even taken, here we go, a future turning. I call it a future turning. And I'll go ahead and cut a rim in there or a groove in there to fit the rim, and proceed to turn that off. In fact, this one almost fits I might use it instead. I won't know until I get there. But I'm trying to showcase my chuck plate, and when I do them with the future turning, I'll call them future turnings, because this is going to be a small, shallow dish. That is a future turning. One of these days I'm going to go for it. Right now it works really good as a jam chuck. Or, yeah, jam chuck. So I'm going to turn this piece right here. If I don't like how it fits, then I will take that off and put another one in its place. Man, I got to work on my banjo. Okay, since this is a piece of MDF, I must put on my mask, and I usually do. I'm not one for breathing this crap because I know how deadly it is. It's almost like it's too late for me because I've been doing this since 1978, not turning but woodworking, using MDF from day one practically when I started my business. I didn't like particle board. MDF was readily available here in Tucson, so I bought some. Been using it since. Okay, don't pull this away from the chuck or the tailstock. Don't pull the tailstock away until it stops spinning. Not quite. Nope, I don't want to do that. Let's see, maybe air will blow. 3 air nozzles and only one with this long stem on here. Oh shit, I don't think that goes through. Oh, this one does. Okay. I'm going to have to, oh yeah, that won't go through because it's a long hole. I'm going to put, get me an exit hole like I just did in case I get something like that and I can't take it off and I can blow it out. Okay, that doesn't quite fit yet, but it will on this next pass. Even though I have this flat on here, my problem with this bottom is there's a crack that goes through here. Let me zoom that in on that because I will get zoomed in because I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing up close. I've got that crack that goes through there, and the point of my live center goes right through the middle of that crack, and so therefore it has a chance to move things around. Now you can see, no you can't. Hopefully this will show. I've got a good fit right here. It sits flat. But you can notice when I spin this, it's not running true. That is so minor that it does not matter. Because when that is parted off, taken out, hogged out, nobody will ever notice that that was wobbling like it is. That's quite a bit. I think what I might do, go ahead and part it off and hope I get past that crack, or at least some of that crack. At least get it going to where I can part it. And then take it to my bandsaw, cut it on my bandsaw. Whoa! Doing that doesn't help. What it did was burned my rim. Take this to my bandsaw, cut it, and come back in here and try to fit it. And if I don't like what I see up here, I think I see a little bit of space right here where it pulled away, and that's causing it to wobble. Well, it didn't burn. That's good. You can see where center almost is on this, and I'm going to try one other method of getting it centered. Let's see if I can make that work. It seems like I do everything. I got everything made to the same exact size every time. What I'm trying to do is get one of my chucks or one of my tailstock steadies. Let me show you that. Tailstock steady. One configuration. The disc and the MT2 taper is the same on all four of these I'm going to show you. It's just this one I put outriggers on it, and then I put spacers on the axle to bring the wheels out further. The reason for the spacers is I needed to clear the struts. These two items right here are struts. Okay. The next configuration on this tailstock steady is this piece right here. And I believe that's about 2.5 inches. And my wheels do touch. My wheels do touch there, but the foot, where is this? The foot is touching the struts, so I can't have that. This one right here, this one will work right here. I'm going to use this one to get me my center. Put a little center dimple on here and then go back to the live center, because I've got a lot of work I need to do to this to make that work. So that's what I'm going to do. And I do have another configuration on the wheels. You've seen all of them so far. And I've got this one right here. Same thing, it's just that the wheels were spun around. And I got this for really small stuff. Every one of them works. I have not lost anything because of these wheels. I have lost because I put maybe too much pressure on my piece, or maybe I took too much off as I was trying to get that tenon or something like that, and the piece would break. I have never ever lost one because of the wheels letting go. I had a creepy tailstock one time that caused a few issues. It would creep back, and I would lose all my pressure here at the where it should be. And that was NFG, because I lost, I think, 2 pieces, maybe. I'm not really sure. It's been so long, and my memory is fading. But the tool itself is a good tool. What I'm trying to do right now is I need to get these adjusted correctly, or maybe my tailstock isn't exactly right. So that's pretty close to being right. So what I'm going to do is give it some pressure. I don't want too much pressure on one wheel. It's got to be the same on both wheels. And the only way you can tell that is to take a flat piece and put up against your, if you don't have a chuck plate, then whatever rim chucks you use and however you mount them, if it's flat, put it up there and adjust the wheels to see that they seem to have equal pressure. Then you'll be okay. You don't want one wheel having a lot of pressure and very little up here. It's got to be equal in order for it to work like it's supposed to. Okay, I'm running at 3,000 RPM right now. That's how secure this piece is. I've also had 5 years using it. I invented it December 2012. Started my patent in March of 2013 after I knew it was a viable thing. And I'm trying to fall out of there. I'm trying to lose it, sounds like. Oh crap. See, that's the kind of stuff that can cause you some problems. So I'm going to use a different tool. I don't know if my tailstock is creeping or what. It's pretty loose. Okay. Anyway, I don't lose pieces. I get what you just saw right there. The only thing that could have happened to that piece just now was have it break, crack, and fly apart. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this edge right here, because you don't want a sharp edge on those wheels. And you can see all the lines and things on them. That's because of them getting caught on really sharp stuff and wearing. For some reason I just can't seem to get myself a good dimple. Now, when I first invented these wheels and started using them, I was using them to hog out all material that needed to be come off here. I have since, in the last, probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years, started using my live center to hold the pieces on while I was removing any excess wood that needed to be removed. Okay. Oh, I almost pushed this thing off. That looks centered. Pretty close. That's close enough for what we're doing, or what I'm doing. A lot of people are always talking about perfect, perfect, perfect. Woodworking, there is no such thing as perfect because wood moves. All right, here goes. going to hog down. Let's see how far I need to go. I will not be able to get a ruler in there because there's just no space. I got to go in 1 inch to get that the way I want it. And if this crack starts giving me some grief up here on the nub, I'm going to stop and use the wheels to remove the rest of it. Where is that piece? There it is. Give you a good close-up of what I'm trying to do. I'm probably going to change tools. There was a guy on one of the wood turning sites that I belong to asked me, why do you spend so much time on the bottom? My response was, you can spend the amount of time making the form, doing all kinds of fancy work to it, making sure your wall thickness is equal and all that kind of stuff. Why not work the bottom? And make it look good too. I'm going to have to change tools. This thing right here is causing me some problems. Not having good luck getting down in there. I don't know how deep I am. I don't know if this will let me get an accurate dimension. I show I'm 5/8 deep right now, but I'm hitting the corners, each corner of my ruler, so I can't really get back in there. And I'm about 1/4 inch away, so I'm about 7/8 there, I think. Let me try one more with my Easy Wood tools and see what it will allow me to do. You see that got a lot worse now that I changed tools or pull that out. I'm going to get my round tool back in there, clean that, and I'm going to put a finial on this. Okay. What's happening is my that pith, it's got that crack. That crack is opened up where when I first started that crack was closed.
But that's okay. I will still be able to do what I need to do. Another thing that I do on some of these is I'll take and jam my tool rest up against a piece of wood when I pull this back. So that way it stays in place. Usually if it's a critical piece, I'll do that, but this isn't that critical. Okay, that was this one here. Okay, I got to pull this away. I got to change tool rest because this one here doesn't give me the room I need. I'm going to try this one. I have another tool rest that I made specifically for this configuration on the wheels. And I call this configuration the inboard because the wheels go inward. I guess when you work in aviation for a while, you get to using their terms. It does make sense. Okay. Now, okay, you can see that that's wobbling pretty good. That's not centered at all. So I got to be really careful when I make my contact there because that's going to want to fly apart. I don't think this one's going to get a finial because it just, the cracks go too far. So I'm just going to take it off. Oops, there went part of that nub already. I just touched it. And there it went. You can see the broken pieces. So I'll get them out of there. Okay. Now this is going to be interesting. Interesting is the fact that I have to go really slow because now I have partial contact on this instead of 100% like I normally would like to have. I don't know if you saw that move. Okay, I want to take a look at that. I might be able to get a finial, who knows? I will try. I'll use the round tool. Just put a point on there if I can. Okay, and you see how it's wobbling. Now, one thing I do a lot of, and that's this, reverse turn. So let me get up here and clean this up. Woohoo! That should have flown out of there. What happened was, it's running true, but this was not, the inside of this was not, and as I'm going down, I'm catching it harder than normal. I'm going to slow down, or not slow down my cut. The speed can stay the same. Yeah, I will be able to get a point on that nipple. I'm going to see what I can do about sanding that. It's really rough inside here. Go forward turning and see if that changes it. With this round tool, I can get in here on this side better. Okay, that didn't make it too much better. I'm going to try this scoochy gouge and see if I can't really tear it up. Okay, one more time with the scooch. Now, show how easy this is to check. That's all I do is just take it off. Check the bottom. I hope I'm not too disappointed here. Holy cow, that thing's over about a ½ inch. More like 3/4. I can't get down any deeper, so we're just going to call this one good. Right here, I'm going to put it back on. And you can see it centered itself again. I'm going to put my tool rest back in place, because one of the guys on one of the sites I belong to was concerned. I'm going to use the other steady, or other, tool rest. He was concerned that I had my tool rest in place and I was sanding. So I understood the concept here. You'd understand why the tool rest has to stay in place. And it's only for when you're doing forward sanding. Put it in there. Cannot get your fingers in here. What happened? Lost my focus. Okay. With the, yeah, it's going out of focus again. I don't know what the deal is. But the way it's set up, I cannot get my fingers down in here. I cannot get in between the wood and the stuff. There's not enough space over here to do anything except I'd have to really shove my hand into it. I gotta stop this. I would really have to shove my hand into this piece of wood right here, which would be right here, and get it caught between that little 16th inch space that I have right there. I have just barely enough room. I'll take my sandpaper and double up. It won't go. It will not go in between the tool rest and the foot of the bowl. I wonder why it's going out of focus like that. Or is that just me? Nope. That camera is already done, recorded about 6, 7, maybe even as much as 8 gigabytes of video. So I think it's pretty much on its last leg. Trying to find a piece of sandpaper that I can use. to get down deep in there. Well, ain't gotta find it. I didn't really want to use this one. Oh, here we go. I take my paper and I roll it up. Well, this is aggravating, this darn camera doing that, cycling on its own. So, what I also do is I put grooves. Usually I try to get 3 grooves in there. I don't know if I can. What I've been doing is turning these grooves into beads. And that's only because I can. Now I'm going to put one, I'll show you in a sec here when it stops. I'm going to put one on the edge over here. So I'll have to reverse turn that one. I'm spending an awful lot of time on that. I would like to know how thick that foot is. If I can, I can go over 1/4 inch right there. So I'm going to go ahead and let me pull this out. Okay, that bead that I was working on back up there is not deep enough to detail what I was trying to do. And again, you saw how easy it was to take that off and then put it back on. Okay, I think that's about it now. Since I'm going to be sanding the opposite direction as the top wheel, I'm going to show you what happens. I'm going to get a real small piece of paper. Here's a 320, I think. I've got it folded. 320. Here's what happens if you get your sandpaper caught. See that? Neither did I. Now here goes again. Hopefully it'll do better. And I got another one right here. That's the one I was looking for. And it's folded up 4 ways too. This is 2000 grit. So it just yanks it right out of your hand. If you have a death grip on your paper, it's going to take your paper. And it might take your hand with it. But I don't think you can get caught in between those wheels. There we go with a different one. Alright, so that's what that does. Exercise caution. Everybody knows that wood turning is a dangerous sport. And I call it a sport because you love it. I guess some people could call it a hobby. I don't like my nose there. I've done a better job on that nose. Oops. If I go the right way, well, I guess I could have. This video was not supposed to take as long as it did, but it did, and now it's done. Woo-hoo! I got a catch. I'm going to take that off. I probably don't have enough pressure on the wheels. I'm going to take my nipple off of there because I got that catch. It just could present a problem, I think. It has so far. Let's see. Okay, now. See if I can get under it. Try to do an undercut. That's what caused it to break out last time. A little bit more. Now, I'll see what I can do about get that tear out. Tear out's not going to come out, so I'll clean up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep messing around. I'm going to punch right through this. Okay. Now, observe. The wood is rotating forward. In other words, like in the normal turning position. There's no way you can't get it in there. You can do everything you can. Won't get it to go unless you go on the back side. Then of course it will suck it in. Now the bottom wheel is the one that's the problem. When you're reverse turning, your top wheel is an issue. When you're forward turning, or reverse turning, or forward turning, the bottom wheel is the issue. Okay. Since I really can't get in there to do a good job, I'm just going to get the steel wool up here. All right, that's okay. This piece is done. I know I took a little bit longer than I should have. I'm sorry. That's the way it goes, though. At least I got it done. and zoom out with it. This is my form. There's the foot, and that's how it sits. Whoops. Supposed to sit flat, and it does. Okay, that's it, and there's the inside. And if you can notice, there's a little nipple on the inside of the lid that I decided to leave. Yeah, that's, one guy asked, why do I spend the time to do that to the seldom seen piece that nobody will ever turn up and look? Well, wood turners always do. And I'm not trying to impress anybody, it's just that I feel that if the piece is worth turning and doing a nice job on the exterior, do a nice job on the underside. Another question would be is, why do people spend upwards of almost $800–900, maybe even $1,000 for a vacuum system to do what my wheels can do? The wheels are $200 at Woodcraft in Tucson and Fountain Valley, California. I'm done. Oh, anybody who wants any information, contact Jerry at gmwoodworking78 at msn.com. Thanks.